Welcome, seekers. I am so glad you've joined us today. Let's take a collective, deep breath, step away from the relentless noise of the outside world, and just look inward for a few minutes. Today, we're diving into a profoundly beautiful explainer based on ancient spiritual texts. We're going to explore the vast difference between an empty ritual and a true, living connection with the divine. Specifically, we're looking at the incredible power of Nam Jap, name chanting. The goal here? To map out a journey from the simple mechanics of religion right to the beating heart of genuine spirituality. So, let's get started.
Now, I want you to ask yourself a rather challenging question. And be honest here. Is your worship actually reaching God? Or is it kind of just an empty ritual? It's a heavy thought, right? But the source material we're looking at today really pushes us to deeply reflect on what our daily practices actually mean. So often we just go through the motions. We check a spiritual box for the day and move on. But are we making a real connection? Let's unpack what the texts actually say.
Section 1. The true meaning of worship.
Okay, so true worship goes way, way beyond just the physical offering of items. In fact, these ancient texts completely redefine a word we throw around every single day. Worship is simply this: connecting with the divine. That's it. The source text points out that, look, you can sit in a temple for hours, you can perform these incredibly elaborate rituals with flowers, incense, the whole shebang. But if the name of the divine isn't echoing in your mind, that action isn't actually worship at all. It gets reduced to a mere karma kand, basically a mechanical act. It's that profound internal state of genuinely connecting your soul with the divine that transforms a physical action into actual worship. Section 2. Why is Nam Jap, or name chanting, absolutely essential? So, according to the scriptures, in the Kali Yuga, which is the current age we're living in, name chanting is hands down the simplest and most effective bridge connecting a devotee's heart to God. Think about it. Our minds are literally like wild, restless horses. External rituals might force your physical body to sit still for a bit, sure, but they do absolutely nothing to tame your mind. The name acts as the essential bridle to steady that wild horse, slowly but surely washing away our impurities. Plus, when we're just doing physical worship, the ego tends to run the show. We catch ourselves thinking, oh, I am praying, or I am donating so much. But as you continuously chant the name, that whole I mentality, it just dissolves. The ego is destroyed, and only the divine remains. Section 3. Worship without the name.
Well, what actually happens if we completely ignore this inner devotion? The texts issue a very gentle but incredibly firm warning about the absolute pitfalls of trying to worship without any internal engagement. And they capture it perfectly in this metaphor. Worship without the name is a mechanical process. It's like a keyless watch. Think about that. The gears inside might be spinning frantically, there's a ton of movement and action happening, but it doesn't show the time. It yields absolutely zero results. It's an empty vessel. Performing these actions without the inner devotion of the name is quite literally a waste of your spiritual energy.
Expanding on that a bit, the text outlines exactly what this empty worship deteriorates into. Without that invisible, secret thread of Nam Jap connecting your heart directly to God, your worship just becomes a public display. It turns into a societal show-off of devotion just to impress the people around you. And because it completely lacks ultimate purpose and direction, it fails to deliver the very thing we're all seeking: true mental peace. If you're just going through the physical motions, your mind stays plagued by the exact same worldly anxieties. You literally leave the temple carrying the exact same heavy burdens you brought inside.
Section 4. The eternal message of the saints.
Throughout history, enlightened masters have shared one identical, unified message: chant the name. Just take a second to absorb the sheer weight of Kabir Dasji's poetry here. The rosary turns in the hand, the tongue turns in the mouth, but the mind wanders in all directions. This is not remembrance. Wow. It is incredibly direct, isn't it? A wandering mind completely invalidates physical chanting. If your fingers are moving the beads but your mind is wandering the aisles of the grocery store or stressing over an email from your boss, you haven't unlocked the door. The name is the key that actually opens the locked door of the heart.
Section 5. The meeting of body and soul.
Now you might be wondering, okay, so should I just abandon all my physical rituals altogether? No, not at all. Physical worship and inner chanting are absolutely not enemies. When you understand them correctly, they're actually meant to perfectly complement each other. Think of rituals, rules, and physical materials as the body of worship. But Nam Jap, that deep inner devotion, that is the soul of worship. Just as a physical body is completely lifeless without a soul, external worship is entirely dead without the animating soul of inner devotion. When you infuse your physical rituals with a constant, steady inner chanting of the name, that is the exact moment mere action transforms into true spiritual sadhana, or disciplined practice.
Section 6. Continuous practice, otherwise known as ajapa jap.
So what does this actually look like? How do we implement this in our crazy, busy daily lives? Well, here's the absolute beauty of this practice. True spiritual connection doesn't require you to carve out a specific time or travel to a designated holy place. The texts give us these highly accessible, incredibly practical steps. First, practice the name with your breath. Just inhale the name and exhale the name. Second, let it subtly echo in the back of your mind while you're just doing your daily work, whether you're washing dishes, folding laundry, or commuting to work. And eventually, this builds into the third step, a continuous, effortless flow. This is ajapa jap, the chanting that just happens continuously without any conscious effort, completely woven into the very fabric of your existence.
Ultimately, the text leaves us with this incredibly comforting truth. The divine is not impressed by or attached to grand temple materials or expensive offerings or flawless outward perfection. God is attached solely to the devotee's bhav, that pure inner feeling of devotion. And here's the thing. That bhav is only awakened through the continuous inner remembrance of the name. When that finally happens, the divine doesn't just stay confined to a statue. The divine resides in every single cell of your being.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a hauntingly beautiful metaphor from the text to reflect on in your own personal spiritual journey. It asks, along with the temple lamps, have you lit the lamp of His name in your mind? It's a powerful thought, isn't it? It is my deepest hope that this analysis has provided you with the insight to transform your daily rituals into a true, soulful connection. Thank you so much for seeking alongside us today, and may your inner lamp burn brightly.